Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Today's video is going to be discussing storyline spoilers for Warlords of Draenor, the 6.1 going into 6.2 storyline. So if you don't want to know what happens, please just very gracefully click the like button and then bow out of the video. I'm sure I'll be doing something that will appeal to you very, very shortly indeed. If you are staying with me right now, then you are understanding that multiple spoilers will be discussed of all the Warlords of Draenor storyline to date. Not potentially in the future, but to date. So please, no whinging in the comments down below. So, the primary focus of today's video, I'm going to be looking at the cutscene which has been released over the last few days, which is an inside job, which continues the storyline from the Legendary Questline. This is the one to get the ring. So you've got to have defeated Blackhand, got his arm, you've got to have collected the 900 goddamn elemental stones. Oh my god, what a monumental ball ache that is. I can't see how that is any different than getting 6,000 Valor points. Really, to be perfectly honest with you. In actual fact, it probably takes longer, because it's definitely taken more than 6 weeks to get these 900 things. Ugh, never mind, moving on. Or at least it's going to take around about the same time. So, you know, I'm going to give my thoughts and feelings about this storyline progression and where I feel that Warlords of Draenor is going and the direction which it has been taking. Now, first and foremost, when it comes to cutscenes with Blizzard, in particular World of Warcraft, because that is my passion, I love them. I absolutely adore them. Blizzard cannot do a bad cutscene in essence. You know, the way that it's produced, the way that it's directed, you just have to even look, you know, 10 years ago to the opening cinematic of World of Warcraft, and it's still amazing today. 10 years later, it's still absolutely fantastic with what they achieve. And then the most recent big cinematic we had, of course, was the Grommash tackling Manaroth and then starting to build the Dark Portal leading into Warlords of Draenor. And that CGI cutscene was epic. Oh my goodness, absolutely epic. Adored it to pieces and really left me with a sense that Grom was somebody to be, at the very least, feared and respected. You know, whether his motivations are right or wrong, you know, to me there was mixture there. I don't think he's all bad at all whatsoever. He's a guy which has seen his people enslaved and enslaved and enslaved, and he's just not going to tolerate it anymore. He's not going to tolerate it. You know, slavery takes on multiple forms, and he's seen multiple forms of this, and he's just had enough. We will not be slaves, we will be conquerors, is a paraphrase of what he said. And so, you know, I think his motivations are, although misguided, I think he legitimately has so much love for his heritage and his people. And so, you know, I thought that's brought across very, very well indeed. And when we talk about in-game cutscenes, like this one is, obviously they don't have the production value of a CGI one, but they have been monumental. I think the strongest parts of Warlords of Draenor has been the storytelling. You know, the end game, I think it's got a lot to be desired still, but storyline-wise, oh, just phenomenal. The leveling up experience to me in Warlords is second to none. I legitimately think it's the best leveling up experience we've ever had in the World of Warcraft. Absolutely fantastic. The storylines are great. I absolutely adore the way that there is this kind of main storyline progression in each zone, and when you complete that, you get a gorgeous cutscene at the end, at least for most of them anyway. And my favourite one of those, I would say, would be the Talador one. I'm a bit of a sucker, and I love it when the Horde and Alliance team up. I do love that. I'm not a huge fan of this opposition, you know. I know that they have to do this, don't get me wrong. I know that they have to do this. But I just love those moments where they legitimately team up. And then you had Yril and Durotan doing this amazing cooperative moment together where Durotan was nigh on dead. Yril either revives him or lays of hands him, you know, whichever one you think it is. Brings him back up to full speed. He chucks his axe. She grabs it, slams it into Blackhand's shoulder. It was just a great moment, and it had lots of feels attached to it as well. Marad died. Doomhammer died prior to this. You know, some big feels to go alongside those as well. Epic storytelling, really clever, really good storytelling, and it's been a very, to me, strong point about Warlords of Draenor. So it's a little bit disappointing, really, that I have to say what I'm going to say, because I thought this cutscene was very underwhelming. And it to me, it kind of epitomised what's happened to Warlords of Draenor without kind of harping on about it too much. It started off all guns blazing and then kind of fizzled, really fizzled. With 6.1 not bringing us any content apart from a rehash of boring stuff from 6.0, which for some bizarre reason Blizzard think is fun for us to do. You know, we're really stuck here. That unless you are raiding in Blackrock, then to be perfectly honest with you, you're probably in a lot of trouble when it comes to finding things to do in Draenor itself, and you've probably engaged into going back to older content. You know, should I do some mount farming in other areas? Should I do some pet farming? Should I level an alt because there's nothing really for my main to do? Should I run around my garrison for 20 minutes a day before I realise what the hell am I doing? You know, it's kind of like those, sadly, those sort of things. And this cutscene kind of epitomised that, because to me it felt like a little bit of a cheaper version of the amazing cinematic with which we got. Suddenly, from where we are location wise, from what I can gather, again, if I'm wrong, just correct me in the comments down below. But I think this is the outpost that is on the borderline of Gorgron, Talador, and Tanaan Jungle. If you go to the east, there'll be Tanaan Jungle. If you go to the north, it'll be Gorgron. And if you go to the south, it'll be Talador. From what I can gather, because I have been here to this area to farm Iron Horde scraps. So that's where I believe this is. So it felt like a very sort of underwhelming place for a start for Grommash to be. I mean, if Khadgar knew that he was just chilling out on this outpost, he'd be like, sod this, everybody! All guns blazing, let's go, let's just go smash this shit up. So that was a bit of a weird one for us for a start. And then secondly, the way that Gul'dan just sort of like turned up with his mug of Mountain Dew. It just sort of was a cheaper version of the opening cutscene. It's just like, cooey, you know, you've lost a lot of your Iron Horde because we've been hacking the Iron Horde to pieces now for you know, 3 or 4 months. You've lost a lot of your Iron Horde, your son's dead, you know, Garrosh has been killed by Thrall, he squeezed him to death with a big stone hand. You know, you have nothing left, come on, drink the Mountain Dew. And it just, you know, it just felt a little bit odd. No, just Gul'dan sort of like turning up, kind of cooey. And if you think about it, where are the other warlords? Well, you know, we can kind of go through them little by little now. And we have Nazul, which we're not, you know, was he killed in the dungeon when we killed him? Is he out the game? If he is, that would be a hell of a quick exit for one of them. Blackhand's dead. We've killed Blackhand in Blackrock Foundry. Kargath's dead. From Highmaul. Now, I believe, even in Mythic, he still remains dead. I've killed Kargath in Mythic and he still stayed dead. So I don't know if there is I think there used to be in a cutscene where he kind of got up and wandered off. But I think that's been removed and he is now theoretically dead. Then we've got Durotan, of course, who is on the, you know, the Horde side. So he's with us, so to speak. He's fighting against the Iron Horde. So that's 4 warlords out of the 7. So the only 3 warlords remaining are all in this cutscene. We've got Grom, we've got Gul'dan, and then we've got Kilrog. And Kilrog, when he... Well, first of all, let's just go into what happens, of course. Gul'dan sort of weighs his Mountain Dew. Grom tells him to go shove it up his arse. Tries to attack him with Gorehowl because he throws Gorehowl at Grom's feet to show that Garrosh is dead. How he didn't know Garrosh is dead is a mystery to me. Because that's something that happens obviously very early on. So how has word not got to Grom that Garrosh has fallen with the Warsong clan or whatever it is that he's been representing? That to me didn't feel right for a start either. And then when he tries to attack Gul'dan incapacitates him with a Warlock spell that I would really like to get. A Warlock spell that I would love to get that I don't have, and made me feel rather jealous. And then, you know, says, anyone else want to step up and drink the blood of Manaroth? You receive this gift of Mountain Dew. And then Kilrog steps up and drinks it. Now, again, this is another massively underwhelming moment. Why is it massively underwhelming? Because Kilrog hasn't been developed at all as a character. We saw a very, very small portion of Kilrog in the very opening Tanan jungle segment. Now, I believe that Kilrog's base of operations is Tanan jungle anyway, which is closed to us. But that, to me, still doesn't work in as much as we can't develop a relationship with Kilrog. We have developed a relationship with Nazul, if you're primarily with the Alliance, especially with the Shadow Moon Valley storyline. We have with Durotan, if you're the Horde, because you work alongside the Frostwolf clan and Durotan. Blackhand, because both our stories, Alliance and Horde, merged at the end with the Talador storyline, with the assault on Shatrath, which was, again, my fave cutscene of the expansion so far, and the amazing storyline with Blackhand then. So we did get to develop a little bit of a relationship with Blackhand, and of course that it goes even further with Blackrock Foundry. So we have developed, and then Kilrog, again, we met Kilrog at the beginning, but he was the very first boss of Hymul. So we kind of got together with him relatively quickly. So we saw, again, Kilrog, very, Kargath, Khadgar, no, I was right first time. We have Kargath, Khadgar, Kargath. Why do they have the K's? Khadgar and Kargath. No! It's going to be the bane of my existence. But we have Kargath at the very opening segment, and then we get him first boss in Hymul. So we do have a relatively quick turnover in as much as Hymul came out 3 weeks into the life of Warlord. So it's somebody we connected with very quickly indeed. Although we didn't develop much of a relationship, we still connected with him immediately. But we're now 4 months into the expansion's life, and we've had nothing to do with Kilrog at all. So the fact that he decided to drink the blood of Manaroth, to me, didn't mean anything. It didn't make me go like, oh. Whereas if Grom had kind of gone, well, you know, sod it. Yeah, my Iron Horde is being annihilated by the Horde and the Alliance. My son's been killed, and Garrosh was the person that kind of steered the Grom ship away from drinking the blood of Manaroth. Remember, he was the one who had the intrinsical part of that prevention that made these timelines completely different. You know, he was the one that whispered or you know, went to Grom and said, look, do not drink this blood. You drink this blood, you will go out, you know, the Horde will go out of control, it will cause this, that, the other, the Legion will come in, the Legion, you know, you'll be the Legion's bitch, and we'll have all this smashy everywhere. Draenor explodes, yada yada yada. So although we're kind of getting to a point where it looks like history may start to repeat, with, you know, times for Draenor getting darker and darker and darker, which could potentially lead to this Draenor also being destroyed. Who knows? But Garrosh was that preventative factor that steered the ship in a different direction. So with him gone, it would have actually been, to me, quite a big WTF moment if Grom had decided to say, yeah, alright, fine, let's do this. And then he took the blood and he, you know, drank it and then started to transform into the monster that Kilrog eventually did. Also, on top of that, Gul'dan just on his own. I know he's a powerful guy, very powerful warlock, and he can definitely look after himself. But again, this is a guy that's been kind of like the Iago of the storyline so far. He's kind of been the the malevolent whisper in people's ear while Desdemona and Othello, I think it's Desdemona and Othello play out as the protagonists, you know, corrupting them from the inside. And, you know, with Desdemona being the Horde and the Alliance, and, and Othello being Grom. So it kind of, to me, he worked in that area. But I thought it would have had so much more impact. Instead of returning to Grom and saying, come on, drink the Kool-Aid, I think it would have been even better if he had turned up en masse with a force of Shadow Council. So you kind of almost had this Iron Horde standoff with Grom's forces and then a significant force of Shadow Council behind him. Warlocks, demons, kind of really symbolising that link to the Legion. And it almost turning up, instead of with a request, with an ultimatum. Saying, you either drink this, mate, or, you know, we will take over. We will kind of almost instigate a civil war between the Iron Horde and the Shadow Council, and that, to me, kind of would have worked better as a strength behind Gul'dan, as opposed to kind of this, you know, withered old, fell corrupted orc that is just, you know, significantly powerful because of the souped up abilities he has due to the fact that he is corrupted with the blood of Manoroth and such. So again, it just, to me, it didn't work. It just didn't excite me. It didn't. There's nothing here that made me kind of go, oh, you know, or wow, I'm so excited going into the storyline for 6.2. All I'm kind of like thinking now is, right, so the Iron Citadel, we're going to fight almost like a Shah corrupted Kilrog. It just kind of feels, oh, we're kind of back to Siege of Orgrimmar stuff. It just feels like that. It just doesn't quite. What was the boss in Siege of Orgrimmar? The one that had been, you know, completely began with M. Can't remember off the top of my head, but Malarak or something. I don't know. But it's just kind of Kilrog just kind of reminds me of that now, because we haven't had any development of character with him, so he doesn't play on the heartstrings, and it doesn't excite me going into 6.2. Doesn't mean 6.2 is not going to be good. I mean, I think it's got to be good due to the massive letdown of 6.1. I think Blizzard have really got to pull the stops out for 6.2. Otherwise, it's going to be, you know, there's going to be some serious issues with the game. So I do think 6.2 hopefully will come out with guns blazing. But it's still not. There's still nothing here in this cutscene to excite me. There's nothing there that I left the cutscene. The opening one from Warlords of Draenor, the cinematic, thinking, wow, this looks like it's going to be epic. And then I left the cutscene in Shadowmoon Valley when I was leveling up my alliance, when we had Velen sacrificing himself. I was there, wow, you know, wow, this is unreal. Excuse me. And then we had the cutscene again, like I said, at the end of Talador with Yril and Durotan. It was just like, wow, this is you know, this is unreal, you know, it's amazing. And then of course it all culminates in the very final cutscene going into Nagrand, where Thrall decides to cheat against Grom and one-on-one combat and use all his magic spells, even though I don't think he's meant to be using those magic spells in that sort of challenge, but you know, from what I can gather, but never mind. So even that was just like, okay, Chris Metzen might have still another boss from us because his ego demands it, but still a pretty darn cool cutscene. And it was really interesting that the fact that Garrosh was dead, but this cutscene, just very. Nothing there really on offer for me to get my excitement on about. In actual fact, the most exciting thing for me in that cutscene was just like, God damn it, I've really got to get those mythic shoulders. I've really got to get those mythic warlock shoulders. And that is pretty much the only moment of massive excitement for me. So it really kind of fit with how Warlords of Draenor's gone, in my opinion. Bit of a disappointing cutscene. Nothing huge, no kind of shocks there, played out very sort of nah, and it's just sort of like the way that Warlords has started, all guns blazing, and then has really fizzled out because Blizzard haven't supported the game at all, especially with 6.1. So we're all kind of just hanging on really for 6.2 for something, well, first of all, for us to play, and secondly, hopefully some more development. But, you know, this is just one guy's thoughts and feelings about it. You personally might have got excited about it. You might have thought there was plenty here for you to kind of ooh and ah about. But, you know, I'd like to hear specifically about things like, how do you feel the connection with Kilrog's been? It might, you know, do you agree, in my opinion, that it's just been almost non-existent? Or is there something else which I'm missing? You know, are there any kind of hints and tips which have been dropped around the game which sort of add a little bit of that Kilrog lore to us? But I just felt no real connection with the storyline, the location, the lack of sort of happening on screen. Yeah, just didn't quite work. And like I said, just very indicative about how Warlords has developed so far. Big bang, damp squib. So let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Those links are in the description down below, and I'll be back with more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.